What's up, dudes and dudettes? It's your man Evan B here, broadcasting again from the Butt Cave.
What's up, guys? Recently I found a new YouTube channel that I like. It's kind of a new guy. His name's Evan Butler, and he's been making a lot of like thrift store videos, and I'm really enjoying watching through it. It's very conversational and just completely different than what I'm used to. So I figured as a shout out to Evan Butler, I would do a similar video. It's very hard for me to do these long takes because I'm very used to just kind of cutting stuff. So I'm going to try and do it all in one take unless it gets really bad. But yeah, so I got some thrift store stuff, and then I'm going to show you some more Troll and Tony loot. First thing I got is some sweet, I think it's like street hockey armor. Picked it up for $5. I'll probably do something similar to the cat armor and make it a zombie reward in NVZ. This is something similar. I think it's street hockey armor, and this has, I like this kind of just because the road wear. A lot of people have this similar just white armor, so I don't know quite what I'm going to do with it yet, but yeah, another like NVZ loot prize. Probably add my own kind of panache to it and something else, maybe paint it or who knows, stick a cat on it. Alright. Flip Fury. This is awesome. I didn't actually have one of these. I am just going to do a stress test for another one sometime soon, but I was pretty excited to find this one. Found it for $248. I won't talk too much about everything individually because there's a lot of stuff to go through and I want to try and get it pretty quick, but Flip Fury, NVZ. This is something from my childhood, and if you're over about the age of maybe 30, you might remember it. Basically, it's just a little, it's called a hot shot. I don't know if that's like the full name for it all the time, but how I remember it is you put batteries in here and it just has this awesome action. Kind of sounds similar to that. It reminds me a lot of playing like Operation Wolf in the arcade. So this is a $148, and it's not quite Nerf stuff, but I'm totally gonna toss it in as NVZ loot. Best toy ever. I regret nothing about that decision. I think we all have the same problem where we can't really pass on these. My line is about $1 or $2. Some of them are worse than others, like the Tech 6. But this one sounds like it's got a good amount of pressure behind it, so it kind of falls into that category of doesn't completely suck, so NVZ loot. This is a weird find, and I've never found this before. I find paintball stuff all the time. You know, these things are great for mags, and you can just do all kinds of stuff with that. So what I'm gonna do with these is I'm gonna fill it up with rival balls, and that'll be an NVZ giveaway. And then this, just a little awkward pouch, but I'm gonna put 6 mags in it, maybe some darts, have that be a giveaway thing too. This was $148, this one was $448. And then in the same case as stuff, I found a bunch of CO2 tanks, and most of them were pretty full. I'm sure they're too old where they need to be retested, but I've got a few things laying around. I used to make convert paintball guns into airsoft, paintball guns into Nerf guns. And so I just have a very minimal need for some of these just to mess around with it. Maybe I'll make a video for it. But yeah, I ended up telling the people at the store, hey, by the way, you have full air tanks back there. If someone drops it, could be dangerous. They pull them all off the shelves. And I got this one for, I think it was like $298 or $398, but it seems decently full. I'll mess with it and then I'll probably just throw it away when I get done. All right, since I'm talking about it and since I finally have an air tank for this thing, I am going to show you my old Dorms blaster. This is kind of the natural progression of things. I had the Night Finder and I was like, why couldn't I just use a paintball kind of source thing? So I made this, found it at a thrift store for like $10, worked pretty good. What we did is we took the well up here, sawed that off, and I added a laser sight because I was awesome. And I haven't fired this since 2008, so that's why safety glasses, and hopefully it doesn't explode. I haven't used this tank before, but we'll give it a try, see how it goes. I hope this works. Compressed air makes me so nervous. Okay, that sounds all right. Okay, so that's working good. So everything seems to be good. How we used to do this, we started out with just normal tagger rounds, and this is what happens when you fire a tagger round through this with no reinforcement. That. So what it does is it breaks the bladder. and just blows it clear open. So our solution to that was a lot of different options. E-tape was the main thing that we did. Sometimes I shoved silicone caulk up in there, just try to reinforce them. Even back here, that's already bent, but with this E-tape on here, if it doesn't blow the head clear off, oh, come on. Still good. So let's see how many we can get out of this one. Still good, it's still holding up. So just that little bit of reinforcement to that. I think, let me see what I can do here. I want to see if I can get it to break. Okay, that one finally did blow the head of it off. So I got about 5 shots with it, but that was about what we were used to, 5 to 10 shots, even taping the top up here just to squeeze a couple more shots out of it. And in the dorms on Missouri State University, like on the 10th floor of Woods, which is the dorm I lived in, we just run around and it wasn't that big a deal. I don't think I would use this outside. It just, paintball kind of has that scary connotation to it. But yeah, pretty great. Let's see what it does with an elite. This is gonna blow this up. Laser beams. Yep, blew the top clear off of it. A little bit of E-tape reinforcement, it would be all right. All right, I'm gonna try a tampon round in here because I can't break those. Oh, that's good. Okay, this might be a permanent tampon shooter because this thing is just rocking. That is so much fun! These are everywhere. I got this for $1.48. I think I'm gonna put a blaster inside of it. I don't know what yet. If I get time, I'll make something for NVZ. Maybe even just something as simpler as a night finder. I think this would be a really cool thing to just make a mod out of that. It doesn't have to be anything too complicated, but yeah, $1.48. Fun blank slate to work on. Do this. I am a big video game collector, mainly Super Nintendo and Nintendo. I do Genesis, and I'm trying to streamline my collecting to just the things I'm passionate about, because before you know it, you can be trying to collect Jaguar stuff, and I don't really care about Jaguar. So now I'm trying to get a complete set of NES minus a few titles. I've got a couple of the top tier ones, but I'm never going to try and go for stadium events or anything like that. Probably the best one I got, I wouldn't say the best, but the most expensive is Cheetah Man 2. Found it for $3 in a pawn shop back in probably 2006, and sitting right next to it was Action 52. So $6 for both of those combined, and I don't really care how much it's worth because I'm probably never going to sell it, but you know, it's neat. It's neat for what it is. But yeah, found this today, Dr. Mario and Tetris for SNES. I think I have this card already, but I like boxes a whole lot too, and this was in pretty decent shape. Paid $4.48 for it. Complete. It's just a really shiny copy of it. I might toss another Super Nintendo into the mix for the NVZ loot, and probably just keep the box and then give this away. I'm not sure what these are going for. I'm sure they're probably in the $15 to $20 range. Most of the first party games have jumped up to that have any kind of desirability for them. This is where the big pile is. So I found most of this at one thrift store. Got pretty lucky on it. Red Rex is kind of my bread and butter just because like the stock rotates so much. I have a couple other bigger ones that I go to that take time to kind of build back up, and they're real hit or miss. So I'll hit those about once a month. But Red Racks, I've got 2 of them in town. I'll hit them 2-3 times a week if I have time and have money to spend. First thing I found was a blazing bow. I have probably 6 of these already. What we usually do with them, you can do a spring change out on the inside, but really all you need is rebarreling for it. Take this out. I think it needs a rounded E-tape around a hole on the inside, and then it's just a nice little blaster that shoots micros out of it. So $4.48, that'll be NVZ loot as well. Pretty much, I guess I should stop saying that'll be NVZ loot, because everything you see here is basically going to be NVZ giveaways. Retaliator, Sonic Ice. These things are pretty cool looking. Like, I love Retaliators, they're real reliable, and you don't see the blue ones, just like you don't run into like the Sonics and the Clears as much. So NVZ giveaway, see if it works. I really like the Ice series. It's just real pretty, but usually by the time the Ice or the Red Sonic, whatever it's called, by the time those come out, I kind of have the blaster. I don't really want to go buy another one, so it's really nice to find them in this condition. where they're like $3. This one was $3.48. All good. Totally worth $3. I'm gonna run out of space here. I think these are fuse fires. Yeah, these are our disc shears, and it's kind of, I haven't shot these before or messed with them, so forgive me if I seem like a derp with this, but how I understood it from before was it had a top mag. Am I gonna break it? Derp, derp, derp. I know there's storage in the front here. I think this one had like a 2-round mag kind of thing going on. Is that? How do I work you? What's that? Well, yeah, stuff. So I'm gonna show these in there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it does have this inline mag on the top, which is kind of neat. I don't know if it's more reliable or less reliable. I think I'm gonna jam this up if I put too many in here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, I've got like 4 or 5 in there, and just from a measurement standpoint, I don't think there's gonna be any more room. So top mag on there, pull it back, should drop one in. So it holds at least like 4 or 5. Fuse fire, there's a button on here, so I'm assuming something happens with this light up here. I don't know if there's batteries in this one or not. But yeah, nothing's happening. Anyway, this was, I think these were, yeah, $4.48. I was lucky enough to find a second one. I haven't really run into this one so much. Like I run into protons, vigilons, practices, sometimes nitrons. But these ones, like, I think they were like on the second round of the, I think it's Zombie, yeah, it's Zombie Strike 2. So, I don't know, for whatever reason, these are just less common. I don't know about if they're more desirable, less desirable, but I think they're pretty cool. Let's make sure this one works. I feel like I'm loading this wrong from the back like that, but totally works. I guess that's everything I need to say about it. Yeah, quick 16, Jam City usually. This one actually was so wedged up with, I think there was Elite darts in here, and I was figuring out whether or not I was gonna buy it or not in the store. I used to pass on these, but now they're kind of getting to that point where they're just kind of fun to run into. I feel like it would be good to mess around with, maybe stick 4B or something in there. And just, I like how they look, got that AK-47 look to them. And I love the idea of this with the magazine, box magazine inside built into it, but it just doesn't really work. I remember when I first got mine, I bought it from Walmart and I was really excited about it. And for about the first 20 darts, it was just so much fun and it worked. And once the darts started to get messed up, it was like, okay, this thing jams like crazy. And whistlers, it mostly takes whistlers, but sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. So got a box of taggers here. And just for science, I'm gonna see if I can get this to even fire first off, and then to see if we can do more rounds. Such a cool idea. All right, that's probably enough because I feel like it's gonna jam. But I'm gonna give this away regardless of whether it works a whole lot. Let's see if you can see that. Uh-oh. What did you do? Okay. That's working pretty good. I'm not gonna mess with it too much more, but yeah, if you are the one who gets this from Troll and Tony, just be really picky about what darts you put in there. If you got some taggers, use those. Everything else, just here. Just for science, let's jam it up. I imagine it had something to do with the heads and just the feeding cleanly, but every time I've messed with this before, it just, anything other than taggers that are decently new, they get jammed up. All right. This must be a good one. All right, we're gonna go a couple more because right now I'm pretty impressed with this thing. Maybe I'm just being extra gentle with it. All right, there's 3 in there right now. All right, quick 16, you're doing better than the Centurion, so okay, maybe it's a good one, maybe not, but either way, it's a cool little piece. Alright, that might be all the stuff I got from the thrift store today, but I do have some stuff that got donated to NVZ. As you may have seen some of the videos I put up before, I'm trying to get like a blaster for every person that comes in town, and then I think we're shooting for like a few hundred, maybe 500. I think the sky is really the limit. If we get people who really want to come out to it, it could get much bigger than that. We can certainly handle it. But me personally, I'm trying to clean out my old stash, everything that I don't need, go thrift storing, and try to give everyone who comes into town for this something special to take home. I'll probably sign it. Drax's coming to stay with me, so I think we'll just do a round where we write the dates and sign every single thing. And then if you watch the Troll and Tony videos, you'll get more information about how I'm going to do those giveaways. But basically, the gist of it is show up to NVZ and you'll get something. Could be awesome, could be less awesome, but you're going to have something to take home with you as a souvenir. So please show up to it. I think you're going to have a blast. But the rest of the stuff is going to be stuff that was donated by a guy named Mick Boley. He's a Springfield Nerfer, comes to Thunderdome all the time. And tonight we just went through his stuff and just dug out all the stuff he's like that he didn't think he's going to need or isn't super excited about. Just basically just cleaned out maybe the excess fat in his collection, because you get to that point where you've just got 50 blasters, and as much as you like some stuff, you got to get rid of it eventually. So this is all the stuff that Mick donated. I'll go through them pretty quick. Sling Fire. That's stock. I've seen him use this a whole lot. You may have seen in some of the videos where there's a shot where there's a guy like, I'm not going to do this over my kicker, but doing the fancy kind of reload stuff, and that's Mick. So this is the one from the videos that you may have seen. One of my all-time favorite blasters is the Ravonic. I am getting to a point where I'm shifting away from box magazines and anything clip-fed, clip-zines. I don't want to play that game and have that discussion, but I'm shifting away from magazine blasters. Like, I haven't had really good luck, and I think messing around during just small games is awesome, but during HVZ, everything that I do is very much centered around reliability and being able to top off my mags, and I love the Vortex discs. This is just, it's incredible because you can just, no matter what, have a pocket full of discs and keep topping it off. And I see the most kills happening during HVZ when people are loading up or when they're jamming, and so by running something like this and then a secondary revolver or two, you keep yourself out of those situations where you're having to beg your friend to save you. So Ravonics, as much as this pains me to give one of these away, I'd like to have all of these that exist in the world. This is going to be included in that. I'll probably toss some discs in there too. I'm sitting on probably about 2,500 discs right now. And the reason I stockpiled them is because they're going to become extremely hard to find in the future. And I want to use this as a primary as long as I'm playing HVZ. So you got to stock up on stuff. So yep, Ravonics, awesome. Highly recommended if you have some discs laying around. Discs are getting harder to find though, so be careful with their HVZ. Don't just dump them all and just expect to get new ones. Doominator. Yeah, this is the first Doominator I ever saw. I was hanging out with Mick, and I was like, oh man, that Doominator, it's like the Flip Fury with 4 kind of thing. He's like, yeah, it's kind of awful. I'm like, okay, let me see it. And you've maybe seen my video for it. It's pretty great as far as reliability. It's not that bad. I really like the idea of it. The cylinders are awesome. It just doesn't have quite the power to it, and I think it suffers from the same thing that a lot of blasters do, is just I had high expectations for it, and when I finally got it in my hand, it was just kind of derpy. But since I did the review and started thinking about it, I do like it a lot more than I initially thought. I think just being reliable and kind of being able to do this, it's worth something. I don't know if it's worth 50 bucks, but as one of your like Nerf perks things, I think it'd be worth picking up. Or if you can get it at a thrift store, absolutely. I paid, oh, nothing. This is the Mick thing. Derp. Barrels. Lots of barrels. Everybody loves barrels. And then a Big Shock. Woo. Not modded. All good. So barrels. I'm running out of room here in this terrible. More Mick stuff. Mick was nice enough to donate this. I love these things. He hasn't rebarreled this one yet. Most people are doing that. And then Custom 3D Nerf is doing these awesome like 3-dart shotgun shot things. I just ordered one from them. And I'm really excited about putting one of those turrets in here. As is, they shoot megas great, but you can rebarrel them down fairly easily. CPVCs, I've seen some people do some brass, but they just have a lot of ass behind these shots, and so they're just a great candidate for rebarreling or to just shoot them with megas, because there's no harm in shooting megas. Fire strike. I'm trying to encourage everybody who donates stuff to sign stuff, just because I think it's going to be really cool during NVZ to just win this stuff, maybe trade it around, find something you really want, and then just to have something to take it home and kind of know, maybe even do a little bit of research on Facebook, figure out who was the one who donated it, and maybe make a new friend like that, you know? Oh, this was so nice of him. Rough cut. I hadn't seen the green one. I think this came in a set with one orange and one green. I have a blue one somewhere. But yeah, rough cut's great. We have a little bit of issues with darts popping out because of the air restrictors in there, and you don't want to mess with that because it's powered by tiny wizards. So I never really mess with the selective AR stuff. Just, I'm pretty happy with stock Elite performances for most applications. I would rather have it be more reliable than trying to squeeze another 10 feet out of it. But rough cuts are awesome. There's a lot of potential. A lot of people do integrations, chop the handle off, put it underneath, turn it into permanent slam fire mode. But either way, you can't really go wrong with a rough cut. I saw some people at OSU just ripping up pretty much everything that came at them with a rough cut, and just having that 2-dart, pretty tight spiral pattern to them. Like, I can't overemphasize this enough. This is totally worth your money for thrift store money. Or even like, they're only like 14 or 15 bucks. I'm sure the set was even a little bit cheaper. So rough cut's a good thing to have in your arsenal. And I think that's pretty much everything. I might be forgetting something, but if you get a chance, go check out Evan Butler's stuff. He calls himself Evan B, so my brain wants to call that his channel name. But yeah, it's a new channel. He's got about 100 subs, and it's kind of picking up rapidly, but I think it's totally worth your time. I really like to watch new Nerfers, especially new Nerfers making videos, because you can just see that enthusiasm and see just how excited they are. And it reminds me of me back in college when I started playing with Nerf guns again. I played with them when I was little, and then bought a knife finder. Let's see if it's up here. Where did you go? This is the first one that I modded in college. I just, kind of looked online and tried to figure out what I could do with it. I think I even did a no-no with stretching the spring in this one. I did a custom barrel profile with just the file and got it exactly how I wanted. This one's having catch issues because I put probably 5,000 rounds through it, but yeah, it's not as good as it used to be just because I've abused it so much. But yeah, this is where it all started for me. Just like, oh, I think I could make that a little bit better. Messing around with it, and then within 2 or 3 weeks, I bought like 10 night finders and a couple Mavericks in the dorms and was just convincing all my friends to play. And then after that ended, after I left the dorms, a few years later, I just looked at my backyards and decided, why couldn't I just build something like that back there? And that's how Thunderdome was born. We played inside the house here for a while, and that was tons of fun too, but you just, you'll outgrow your space as people figure out that it's worth their time to come over and do it with you. And so I can't really encourage you guys enough to just start playing in your backyard, start making friends, just advertise, hey, I would like the Nerf, and I bet you there's someone out there who'd like to do it too. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it a lot. There'll be more videos coming soon. Finishing up Thunderdome right now. I'm so excited about it. I have credits to work on and a couple other little things. I don't want to give a timeline, but we're very, very close. Thank you for being patient with the Kickstarter perks. I appreciate you guys all so much. Thanks for watching.
Much love. Hey, peace and hair grease, guys. Have a great night, and Nerf on.